in most of these, you guys have noticed we've looked for underhooks, right? Underhooks are our friend. My goal, is, in particular when I get mount, is I need an isolation. And when I say isolation, it means one elbow away from his head, in any direction. Elbows in here, this is safe, they're good. But if I can get that elbow out, that allows me an isolation. Once I get an isolation, then I can exploit that to continue kind of my quest of ultimately getting them to almost panic and give me something else. There are submissions from isolations, but sometimes the end goal is not just that isolation. The end goal of the isolation is to get them worked up a little bit so that then they try to crawl out the window that you left open for them. So we'll take this one for example. When I do my knee cut, I've got this underneath, and let's say I just grab here and drive up. So now I'm underneath one of his arms, all right? Instead of just holding here, what I like to do is immediately, I'm gonna start to spider walk my hand up. Spider walking is just like that. So as soon as I hit underneath here, I'm gonna switch heads, right? Because as soon as I commit a hand, I gotta offset my head. So if I'm over here with a committed hand, I could be in trouble. I'm gonna offset, and I'm gonna walk this thing all the way up as high as I can get it. As soon as I get it high enough, I'm gonna switch my hands and grab his armpit. Okay, now obviously I'm not gonna leave this much space. Once this walks up and we're ready to switch hands and grab his armpit, I'm gonna again cross my head off the center line. Because if my head's right here, I'm gonna get ooped. Once I get to this isolation, this is one of my favorite positions in mount because I've got a ton of control and he really doesn't at this point. The easiest submission that we have from here is, you see I'm holding on to the inside of his tricep. All I need to do is either do like a knee switch or a cut across the inside, and I can look for a head and arm. The way that I like to do for a head and arm from here is an S grip. I'm gonna pull it nice and tight, then I'm actually gonna look up. Sorry, take a breath. And I'm gonna walk up so I'm looking down the line. Somebody told me they say put your chin in their eyeball, right? Because a lot of times when we do head and arm, we do it like this and we try to squeeze. But if I walk up, it makes my job a lot easier and it gives me a wide base. Because there's the Boss root encounter where he reaches up and grabs his own leg. Yeah. If I'm out here, it's still, he's not gonna be able to kick me back because he can't kick me that way. My base is way too wide. All right, so from the top. See, if this arm is anywhere, I'm gonna fight for it here because as soon as we come up here, I'm already working that isolation. Okay, your head pressure can be right here or it can be across. A lot of times I like to push up with it because if I overcommit over here, my arms are kind of short, especially with bigger guys, and you can't get all the way around them. But I can push it here and keep that trap nice and high. Another option that we can do is we can just knee flip. I like to do an inside knee cut, so I come across. I'm gonna contour my right foot to his hip and then drive it out. Once this comes out, I take my S grip, walk up the line, give him a squeeze. That's a fun one to be.
That's niceness.
Any questions? I heart me this position.
So if you've got your head up against his arm, that's great. If you don't have it, as long as you're looking up the line, it's okay.
Yeah, so if I don't have my head all the way out here, I just need to be pushing it down. I need to be checking his elbow, because his elbow is where his rotation comes from. So if I feel him trying to push his elbow out, I can slide my head down. But when I'm up here, I'm also keeping his elbow above his head, which gives him less control and power with that elbow, right? If I'm all the way down here, he can move that down and he can move him easier. But if I have this trapped up high, he's got a lot less movement capable and it makes it way easier for me to jump and get that finish. Even if you don't get the finish, this is the isolation we're looking for because we're gonna use this same setup to get into S mount, to take the back, to choke them. All we're trying to do is shut all those windows and get the fire going so that they panic their way out of it. Because what do we want them to do? We want them to extend, right? We want isolation. So they say, screw jujitsu, get off of me, and there's an armbar, or a choke, or any number of things as soon as they give up on jujitsu and just go into panic mode. And that's ultimately what our goal is, because then I didn't do anything other than just get him to panic. It's a lot easier than getting him to move this hand this way and get ready for the submission. You know, Pedro Sauer always says, the mousetrap doesn't chase the mouse. The mousetrap just waits. And essentially, that's kind of what we're looking for here. Any other questions?
I'm sorry, is on your edge grip, is your palm up or palm down? So there's a
Thumbs up.
thumbs up.
The underhand is thumbs up. But any grip you like is perfectly acceptable. I like this because I can pull it. This, I don't feel like I can pull as well because my wrist is rotated down. This, a lot of people like because you can really squeeze the crap out of it. But I like this because I can pull as I'm walking up the line. I can pull that down to tighten it up even more. But feel free to explore your grips. The grips, like, I've been choked with every different grip you could imagine, and I tell you, they all work. So, any other questions?